I do think it will always be the case. Part of my, one of the main themes in the book, I think, is the cyclical nature of religious fundamentalism that's a constant strain for this country. And it's just sort of as much of our fabric as you know, the idea that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I mean, I just think that's something that's always going to be running through our blood, is this sort of this struggle between these puritanical roots, and I think it's going to keep reasserting itself, and I think we've seen that in the last few years too. I mean, the fact that a candidate's religion is constantly on the top of the list of whether or not they're electable. The fact that an atheist will never be elected in this country. Not in our lifetime anyway, I don't think. So I do, for the foreseeable future, I think it's something that's going to be a recurring theme in our country. That's an interesting question. Definitely. Sometimes I would come across quotes, and it was like something you could have read in the New York Times yesterday. There was a quote from one of Clifford Rowe's supporters talking about how we can't bend to pressure from the infidels and Jews from Europe. This is a Christian nation. Our courts have decreed it so. We should, make sure that our schools are Christian schools. And it was sort of right when that whole debate was going on about the Constitution and prayer in schools and that sort of thing. And it was like, something from Focus on the Family just ended up 100 years earlier in these archives I was looking at. That's a fun question. I think it came from the Bible, to lie with. I think that evolved into a euphemism to get laid. But the Everly Sisters, so of course that has been around for a very long time, but I think the Everly Sisters very calculatedly picked their surname, knowing that it would sort of be adopted as a pun. And although it wasn't the origin for that phrase, it could be, linked to it and sort of further the use of that phrase. So they just sort of jumped on the bandwagon of it, I think, but they weren't, their adopted surname wasn't the actual impetus for that.